Good morning, and welcome to FRL. Sorry, I'm not doing the intro. I'm not doing it. That would be stolen valor on my part because there is no Christian Piles today. I am JD Rader, joined by David Bray and Ben Askren via satellite. Ben, how are things in Wisconsin?
Everything's good. Well, I can't believe you didn't attempt the intro. Whoa! What's going on, everybody?
There it is. We got one in, but I'm not doing it. That would be stolen valor on my part.
Stolen valor. Oh man.
I tried it when you had fled the country, and it was not that great.
Yeah.
Not that great. I didn't do it that great.
Nope. So I'm not even tossing my hat in the ring. We do have some news to get to today, some transfer news. Then we've got a bunch of questions we didn't get to yesterday, a couple voicemails, and then a very special guest at the end of the show who we talked about yesterday. Anthony Robles is going to come on the show, talk a little bit about doing a bunch of pull-ups.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. In the Pat Gores in the Bahamas? Let's start with that. I didn't see that.
All right, yeah, that was an article I read yesterday on Internet. He's got some finance internship. Apparently, it's in the Bahamas, which explains why he didn't do World Team Trials. He's going to take over Wall Street, apparently, when he's done competing, which he says he plans to compete through the 2024 Olympics. He also said he plans on coming back next year at 125, which is pretty notable.
Yeah, big time.
Princeton got a new dietitian, apparently, that he plans to help him with.
Real?
Yes.
That's funny.
It was in the article. He
Nice.
literally said, no, it will be tough.
Yeah.
But basically, RBY Dayton or a Spencer Lee with potential health problems. I think
Maybe
he
he's all
go
the healthy
125.
Yeah. I mean, he made the finals this year, and that was like 2 weeks after getting pretty much wrecked by Vito. He beat him again. Let's see. What's his record like with Spencer Lee? I remember they met the first time. It was like he got teched, but everybody was like, "Wow, that was the most impressive version of somebody getting teched." Then they met at Midlands, and it was 12-6. But I mean, that was way back in 2018. We haven't seen him wrestle.
I feel like they wrestled one other time since then. Am I misremembering this?
On WrestleStat, I'm just seeing those two, and they were.
I don't think so. They were supposed to. Remember, they were supposed to this season, and then there was the whole neither guy weigh in thing. Was somebody ducking? Did Corey miss weight?
Corona year, Princeton didn't compete, so there was that also.
Yeah. So we haven't. Man, we saw him twice within a 6-week period of time in 2018, and then we haven't seen them wrestle in 4 years since then. So
they didn't wrestle in 2020 at all? That was the year I was thinking. No, okay, interesting.
I might be
Dang, Gord was
misremembering.
undefeated in 2020. I forgot that.
I might be misremembering, but I feel like I heard the Iowa Princeton deal might be up, so they might not even duel next year. But I think they both said that they wanted to continue though.
okay, let's make it happen.
I'm obviously all for it, but there's a chance that they don't duel. I think I might be misremembering that, but I feel like I heard that.
Got it.
I mean, that seems like that's where he needs to go. I mean, if he wants to have his best shot at winning a title, I think that's where he goes. He's been in the finals once. It's a good move.
And he only has 1 year of eligibility. Everyone's eligibility is messed up, but let's see. He wrestled, didn't wrestle, Corona year. He would actually have 2 years left, guys.
Yeah.
Because but then he would have to transfer because
Ivy League
don't allow grad school. Yeah, because he took 6th place as a freshman. Then the following year was the year they didn't compete at nationals. Then they didn't wrestle that following year, and then took 2nd.
Yeah, man, that's really too bad.
Mm-hmm.
they got to figure something out with that.
He might not if he didn't go to school that year.
Well, he's already been in school for 3 years.
But this is his 4th year. This is his 4th year coming up.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he'd probably have to transfer.
It's almost impossible to know how many years people have left, and regardless of their situation.
Correct.
So
Almost impossible. It's annoying.
Also, in 125 news, Taylor Lamont announced he's going to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought someone said he was going up to 133. That-
Well, there's
Okay.
talk now because they have Barnett at 125. Lamont did compete that 1 year at 133,
Yeah.
so it
They,
wouldn't be
they do have
shocking.
Berwick at 133, but he didn't really have a great year last year.
Yeah, I feel like Lamont would definitely be the favorite to win the spot there.
Yes.
133 for Lamont is, I mean, he has been much less effective at
Oh my
133 than he was at 125. So, when I first hear the idea of him at 33, it makes me a little bit nervous just because he hasn't performed really that well up at that weight. He was 14-7 against Division I competition in that year that he wrestled 133. Was a national qualifier. He did beat Montori Bridges. That's a good win, but his losses in that season were not great. I mean, he lost to Reese Whitcraft, Moshe Schwartz, Todd Small, Noah Gonzer, and Jax Kudlarczyk. So also lost to Ridge Lovett, Seth Gross. Those aren't bad losses, but I don't know. But then, I mean, you look at Wisconsin historically, they've had pretty good success with transfers and guys moving up in weight. So maybe those factors balance each other out. But it's definitely a very interesting pickup for the Badgers.
So Barnett does have a red shirt too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so he could go 125 this year, and Barnett could redshirt.
But if they do that, I don't really know what the value add is. I mean, it's I guess it's just an extra
Another
year. Yeah, it's just an extra year of having similar productivity at 125. But
Well,
what you really
not
want, it
similar.
seems like,
I mean, the other thing you got to factor in there, Bray, is that you get rid of. I mean, if you're looking for in Eric Barnett's favor, then you get rid of. Vince Lee's gone. Patrick Glory maybe he's gone after this year, so you get rid of like certain people.
yeah, that's true. All right, so yeah, maybe that's the play. Maybe it's a Barnett focused transfer. I guess when I think about transfer tracker, often I don't know what comes to mind for me is lineup strength and just like, how do I get our team up further on the on the list, like how do I get them to finish higher? So that's why I would suspect they're going to probably try to get them both in, but you never know. I mean, it's a good point about Barnett. If you can put him in a more realistic position to win a title in 2 years, maybe that's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, because Vito's moving up, he said. Glory's gone. Spencer Lee's going to be gone. D'Agostino's going to be gone. Well, Courtney will be gone after next year too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is his last
So,
year.
I mean, you're going to get rid of a lot of people next year, so that could be highly beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice this at first, but when Tyler just put up on the screen, it is interesting. He said he met with the University of Iowa as well. He said he met with Iowa, Iowa State, and Cal Poly.
Well, so
Iowa,
got
obviously-
anything about going up.
Yeah, I mean, you would think because
Yeah.
Spencer Lee's coming back at 125 next year,
Yeah.
I would assume.
So he's definitely moving up then.
Yeah. He's going to have some insight about the question of Wolverines versus Badgers. What animal is tougher? Because that's a big question.
Has no one ever put a Wolverine and a Badger in a cage together and saw what happened?
That has to have happened.
Has to, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of video that gets shadow banned, I think, though.
That's too funny. I think I might have been shadow banned a little bit, guys.
Really?
Yeah, because I was a steady, I was gaining like 3,000-ish followers a month. And then all of a sudden last month, I jumped to 6,000 on Twitter, obviously. And then now I'm already at 4,500. So it's like, I definitely didn't do anything different. Actually, I'm not even tweeting that much recently. And it jumped big time. So maybe there's a little shadow banning going on. Elon bought it. It kind of brought it to light.
Yeah. Probably because of that. Probably because you were hunting down those gophers. I bet that's what it did it.
That's it. I saw a big old fat one yesterday run across, and I tried to chase it with my gator, and I couldn't get it. But now I got to set up much more traps. Damn it.
Smoke them out.
Yeah, smoke them out. No, that never worked. That didn't work at all, actually. The trapping was what ended up working. Trapping was good. Shooting Keegan O'Toole can't shoot a damn gopher to save his life.
They're fast little creatures.
You gotta get AJ
No, you couldn't
Ferrari
even get them
out
to come out of
there.
their house. You couldn't get them to come out. The smoking thing didn't work.
Try having AJ Ferrari bring his arsenal out there and see what he can do.
Well, I mean, AJ Ferrari couldn't use the arsenal unless he could get him come out of the hole. Hey, someone
True.
told me that AJ Furr was not enrolled in Oklahoma State second semester last year. Is that true or false?
I have no idea, but I mean,
Didn't he get in the accident like January, or was it December?
no, it was
It was it was 2020
it
or
was.
2021.
I think it's
Wow.
I think it's 2022. I think it was 2022 when it happened.
Yeah, I don't remember. Would that affect his eligibility somehow if he was not enrolled, or he maybe have to do summer classes or something?
Might have paused it if you're not enrolled in school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how all the eligibility rules.
rumors everywhere.
Yeah.
Not rumors and more transfer news. Michael Kemerer is going to Spartan Combat RTC Cornell to compete, be an athlete and a coach.
I thought this was. I didn't think Kemerer was going to wrestle, and then this also brings me to then. Listen, so I might be getting paid by the haters to talk about this, but I also maybe not. Um, does Hawkeye Wrestling Club want any wrestlers? Because Kemerer seems like a good guy to keep around. The only who they have on the roster now? Lugo's the only active one. Marinelli's going to wrestle in Street League, but he's not competing in any real freestyle matches. Like, what's going on?
I don't know.
That's the wrong person.
You got to imagine there's a lot of eggs in the Spencer Lee basket.
That's
yeah,
the only one guy.
Yeah,
like,
you would have thought.
Well, going to wrestle like Ironman. Who?
I think Ironman will. Ironman's coming off a pretty serious injury though, right? At the end of the season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to need a little bit of time. DeSanto is going to compete, but I don't know why he didn't compete in this year's trials process. There are a lot. This was a very strange year in terms of people competing in the open and the trials process. I mean, there were a bunch of weight classes, both men's and women's, that could have been way, way better than they were. I mean, look at 57 kilos. It was, I mean, we have a good Final X matchup with Gilman and Vito, but think about the guys we didn't see at the trials. Camacho was in the trials finals. No Spencer Lee. Obviously, he's still getting over injury. Pat Glory's in the Bahamas. We got Suriano doing God knows what, God knows where, and he's out. Like, that weight could have been really good. Instead, just it's kind of a shell. Women's 53 kilos is one of our like deeper weights domestically. We had 4 people in that weight in the trial. So I don't know if it's. I do think it's a Hawkeye Wrestling Club issue, but I think it's broader than that also.
Well, I think the answer for 53 is proportional to the amount of women that size. Like, a lot more women are below the lightest weight class than there are men below 57.
Yeah, but that's the second lightest weight class, 53.
Yeah, 50.
Like, so anyway, I don't know. It just seems like we have a lot more depth at a bunch of these weights where we're not seeing them compete. But back to Kemerer, I thought the story on him for a couple years was that he was not going to have a real serious, like, full commitment to senior level wrestling. So if that's true, then I think this maybe makes sense for all parties a little bit, in that I think Spartan Combat needs to keep bigger guys around for Dake, right? Dake needs training partners, and even if Kemerer's not gonna make like a serious effort to make an Olympic team, having that guy around for Dake makes a ton of sense. And if you're the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and you're trying to reinvent yourself, maybe you don't want a guy that's a little bit of a part-timer,
I mean, do you think Spartan's bringing him in to be a part-timer? Because it didn't say he's going to be having coaching duties.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
He'll be an assistant coach. Yes.
Yep. Okay, I must have missed that. Yeah, I feel like he's a good guy to have around, healthy, because it kind of fills out their roster. Yeah, for Iowa, it's like, are they get? They have one. Are they going to get more? We thought they were going to get more guys from the senior class on their roster, and they have. We said Jaden, but Jaden hasn't been like, oh, announced I'm going to wrestle in this or that or whatever. I'm just waiting to get healthy type of thing. DeSanto, I don't think I've seen anything out of DeSanto either. Right? Did I miss it?
He said he was going to wrestle, continue to compete after NCAAs, but since then, yeah, I don't know what he's been doing.
Okay. So good pickup for Spartan. And yeah, you have it on the list. This is like the most random thing ever when I saw it announced, Marinelli versus Richie Lewis. I was like, wait, what is going on right now? What in the world is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. They're putting together some cards, and that's the headliner for the next one.
That's so confusing.
Yeah.
On so many levels. Is it freestyle? Is it folk style? I don't know what's going on. Does Richie Lewis even wrestle? I'm not sure. I thought he was
I think
fighting.
he just fights, yeah. And he's guaranteed to be UFC champion because he went to Iowa Central, so.
That's funny.
Richie Lewis needs this match to be freestyle. He really needs this to be freestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, folk style is not.
I would
not
assume it would be.
Yeah.
And Marinella would be a heavy favorite, but Richie Lewis does have that dog in him.
He's a U23 world champ. I mean,
Yeah.
freestyle wise, he's got better wins than Marinelli in freestyle.
Richie Lewis just fought, actually, guys.
Isn't he undefeated?
May 6th. He's 3-0. He fought May 6th.
Like I said.
What kind of fight are we talking? Is it like a
It
fight
was
that
low
looks
level.
like he was...
The other guy, I'm just looking at, the other guy was 1-1.
Okay. All right.
So very, very low level. But you kind of got to do the low level thing. Like, I saw people picking on Bo Nickel because this guy looked like a roofer. It's like, dude, that's where you got to start. They don't let you
Sure.
fight the good people right away. It'd be nice if you could, but they don't let you do that. You know, if you could enter a tournament or something and then face some of the better guys. But
They let Pico do it.
Yeah, that didn't turn out so good.
Yeah.
Pico, I mean, but yeah, they did let Pico do it. It didn't turn out that well. But even that wasn't like the guy was. He was what's the word for it? He was a veteran and he was pretty solid, but it's not like he was ranked number 3 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he fought much better than like Richie Lewis or I fought or Bo Nickel, but it also wasn't like he was jumping to the top of the division. His guy was what was his record? His record's 9-3, so he was solid but not great.
What was your so obviously you say you started with guys that weren't that good. What were the events and the promotions and the venues like? Because man, I
promoted the first 2 I did.
You just did it yourself. Where was it?
In Columbia, Missouri, because I couldn't find anyone to book me.
But was it what, in like a barn or was it in a parking lot or what?
Barn. No, it was a ballroom at a I don't remember. It was a hotel. I don't recall which hotel it was. Yeah. And then Tyron Woodley and I actually made our professional debuts the same day. He had previously had amateur fights because professional fighting was not allowed in Missouri at the time. But that's crazy to think about, right?
That is crazy.
Professional mixed martial arts was outlawed until 2009 in the state of Missouri. So, yeah, we made our debuts on the same day.
Man, crazy.
Hey,
Crazy,
we got
right?
some info in the chat from Danny saying Spencer Lee said on Twitch that DeSanto is healthy and training.
All right.
There we go.
Just not competing.
Pays to watch Spencer Lee play video games on Twitch.
Yeah.
For real.
All right. Last bit of transfer news from yesterday. Brandon Meredith announced he's going to South Dakota State, completing the Berge transfer swap.
Dude, I died laughing when Christian tweeted and the old player to be named Blazer thing. Like, I died laughing because it's probably not true, but it's kind of funny because it kind of feels like it's true.
There is like a decent chance that started a relationship.
Yeah, what if Damian Hahn was like, all right, Berge, you can do this, but I need you as a spy and a plant, and you got to bring back whoever you can.
Yeah.
You got Brandon Meredith, so.
Maybe it's just the first domino to fall. What if, like, Carter Strachey transfers next?
That I would lose my mind.
Steal RBY.
Dude, what if
you could taste me 5 times on air if Carter Strachey transfers to South Dakota State?
What if Brady Berge ends up being like he pulls this massive bait and switch? He was this undercover operative the whole time.
Is Berge back in Brookings? Somebody in Brookings.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Fill us in.
If he's not in Brookings, then that just means he's probably still, maintaining his cover. And when he goes back to Brookings, he's filling up a sprinter band full of Nittany Lions. That's what could happen.
We'll see, I guess. Seems unlikely, but maybe. Damian Hahn playing the long con. All right, should we get to some questions that we didn't get to yesterday?
Yeah, we didn't get to anything.
I know. Let's actually start with this one since we were just talking about Bo Nickel. Let me see if I can find it here. Here, from FRL's The Best, one of my favorite accounts. So he dominated Mark Hall. Does this mean that Bo Nickel is the best wrestler who didn't compete at World Team Trials? Did he just get that much better since 2021?
I think there's a little bit of both there. I mean, obviously, Bo Nickel's really high level. And I do think Valencia got a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. I
Who,
think
who would be
it's
the other? Well, Gable would be the best guy that didn't compete.
correct.
Okay. Is that what you were going to say? Did I steal your answer?
A little bit. But I was going to say that I do think Saeed has gotten quite a bit better in the past year. It would be interesting. I wonder how much, because Bo is still in State College, correct? He opened up
Yeah,
that gym in State College. It'd be interesting to see how much actually training he's still doing with the Nittany Lion guys.
Yeah. I mean, there's some other really good guys who didn't compete, and it'd be well. Where do you put them in relation to Bo Nickel? How about Spencer Lee? Above or below Bo
Ooh.
Nickel?
I mean, at this point, like your mind tells you above, but you kind of got to go below just because he's wrestled in one senior level freestyle tournament.
He's also undefeated in senior level freestyle.
He dominated, but it was domestic.
Okay. How about Nick Siriano? Nick Siriano.
You got to go below. He lost to
Vito.
He lost to Vito. Didn't he lose to NATO at World Team Trials
Mm-hmm.
Maybe so.
in 2021?
That's the number.
Yeah, because it was NATO Dayton final on it. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So NATO.
Yeah.
So NATO didn't compete.
Yeah, there were kind of a lot of guys that didn't compete, huh?
I think because you see a drop off a lot after an Olympic year, but last year with the Olympics getting pushed back, it was like, oh, well, I'm just going to train a couple more months and go to World Team Trials. Like,
Yes.
it's, what was it, April to September? Is that when World Team Trials were last year? So it's like, yeah, you might as well. But then you get the full year, and it's like, oh, now I'm hanging them up, or I need a break. Plus,
Yeah.
I think, a lot of college guys that maybe would have competed didn't want to after competing that extra year in college. Maybe a guy like Hayden Hidley maybe would have, but he goes, I just got done with another long folk style season. Like, I'm ready to hang him up. I'm ready to be done. Guys like Marinelli and Kemerer, who are still competing,
What about,
apparently, but they were, after a full college career, they were like, maybe give me at least a couple months.
Yeah. What about Joe Colon? Did he retire? I didn't see it anywhere, but he didn't.
I know he's battled injuries. I think maybe he's not hung him up completely, and if he gets healthy by next year, we'll compete. But he also could be done. I'm not positive on that.
Got it.
I think there's some really probably some still like lingering weird byproducts from the COVID stuff, because it's I think being off a competition for a long time was strange for a lot of guys and exhausting in a mentally in a weird way. And then after that, there's just been this like higher concentration of competitions where you have like Olympic trials and Olympics and World Team Trials and Worlds, and then all these extra guys with an extra NCAA year, which has been really taxing. And so I don't know. It's weird though, because it seems like a bunch of the guys, we don't know if they've hung them up, and probably they haven't completely, but they didn't wrestle right now, and so it's really weird. And then like on the women's side,
did you leave your shoes on the mat or not?
Cologne, or just in general, yeah. Did you put them on or not? But on the women's side of things, like people that didn't compete, I think Kylie Welker and Kennedy Blades,
Welker
right?
and Blades, where the heck were they?
Yeah, well, Kylie Welker's dealing with an elbow injury, so she made sense. But I think Kennedy Blades, there was still question about whether or not she was going to compete up until like the last week.
Why? Did she give reasoning or no?
I know that she, in an interview, talked about like having dealt with some similar stuff to what Helen did with concussions, and not just the concussion, but then like the lingering mental health issues.
She just wrestled. She was. I mean, I was there. She was on the.
She wrestled Victoria Francis
the day before NCAs.
Yeah. So that's why it's confusing, because it's not like she's been completely off the mat. So, so I don't know, but she's somebody that you would think would have a really good chance of bringing home a medal, right?
Well, especially if you have Adeline's out and Kylie Welker's out, you got to think she's the. I mean, right? According to last year, she finished in the next spot below that.
Yeah, she's been in the Olympic trials finals, World Team Trials finals. So that's somebody that I would have wanted to see.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising to me that she didn't compete. So Yeah, but Bo would be high up there. I mean, I don't think we ever see Bo full-time wrestling again. He's gonna fight, and I think that's what he's gonna do. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a few wrestling matches here and there because he seems like he really enjoys it, and he's obviously high level. I bet he'll be around a lot.
Yeah.
All right, more questions. Whose World Team Trials winner has the best chance of knocking off a returning medalist? A couple of people basically asked this, but who's got the best chance of pulling off an upset?
Well, let me ask you this before we answer that. What would be the odds? What would be the odds of the returning world medalist going 14-0? Is it good? Is it really good? I feel like just because of the sheer number of them, it can't be that good because going 14-0 is freaking hard, despite the fact that they're all favorites, probably significant favorites, but 14-0 is difficult.
So the men's side, I feel like your two best chances of a world medalist at least dropping a match would be 57 and 61.
Yeah.
Vito and Gross taking on Gilman and Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
The women's side.
But hold on. You didn't say losing. You didn't say losing. You said dropping a match.
I think it's pretty obvious Thomas Gilman and Dayton are heavy favorites, and
That's
at this point, I would not pick them. But you tell me one of those guys drops one match. Okay, like I could see
they
it.
They gotta win two. That's part of the deal here.
I know, yeah. So I'm saying it if one of those, if Thomas or Dayton lose one match, I am not super surprised. Like going into each match, you're like, well, I'm gonna favor Thomas and Dayton, but kind of you said, it's just a numbers thing. That probably one person is gonna lose at least one match.
Yeah.
On the women's side of things, you're probably looking at 55.
Yeah, for sure.
That one went 3 last year with Jenna and Jakara. So there's a good chance that one goes 3 again, I think.
That challenger has a gold medal at the World Championships. So
right.
For sure, yeah, that one's highly likely. But on the men's freestyle side of things, it seems like the medalists are pretty big favorites almost in every case. I mean, maybe in every case.
I think in every case.
Burroughs just beat Marsteller. David Taylor has never lost to Zahid. Dake made a Crypto Eyes photo after the last time he wrestled Jason Nolf.
Wait, really?
Yeah, his Instagram profile, he's like bombing Nolf, and he's got the red eyes.
Laser eyes. He's a Bitcoiner. I didn't know Kyle Dake was a Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
We talked about crypto one time for a little bit, but not very long. Interesting. Yeah, Nolf looks really good, and Zahid looked really good. But then, we're talking historical success. It's probably unlikely that they knock those guys off, and obviously those guys are both world champions, also.
Yeah.
So maybe let's rank these in favor of heaviest favorite to least heaviest favorite men's freestyle. What do you think? Like 97?
Heaviest favorite.
Probably the biggest favorite.
92, 97 are probably the two biggest, I would say.
Yeah. Nate Jackson
97 is
so.
pretty big. Like, if you told me how much, well, some of them feel like zero. I mean, if you told me, hey Ben, you get to make a bet on Chance Marsteller beating Jordan Burroughs twice, dude, I'll take it. Give me terrible odds. I'll take that bet.
I mean,
right?
Yeah. Good enough odds.
Yeah, I guess the only chance would be, to me, the only chance would be for Chance is some type of injury. Beating Burroughs twice, man, come on. But I feel the same way about Jaden. I feel the same way about Kyle. I mean, the only knock against Jaden would be that he has had a couple kind of off days in the last 5 years, whereas what's Kyle's off day in the last 5 years? What's Jordan's off day in the last 5 years? When have they
whipped
lost
up
the
by
guys?
Mohammedian a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, for Kyle. But Mohammedian did kill Bo Nickel that day.
Yeah, Mohammedian's really good.
I think he had just gotten like a steroid injection or something where he was just all juiced up and ready to go. Something to that effect. Because when you saw the rest of his performances compared to that day, it's weird.
Well, yeah, he had popped for performance enhancing drugs, so he had been on a ban for years and years, which also means he's not being tested for those years. So he was just getting ready
so
for that.
Weird that like you get busted, you're busted for steroids. Hey, we ain't gonna mess with you now. Like do whatever you want for 2 years. Like what? How's that the rule?
Yeah.
You get busted, you should get tested like every freaking week or some shit.
That's not what they do. Just let them get. They just let them go hog wild, man. Pretend like they don't exist.
Real.
Where do we put Zilmer versus Gwiz on the Gwiz favorite?
I think the last match they wrestled was 3-0, and it was like Gwiz either, I can't remember if he got a activity clock point or if he got a step out, and so then Zilmer had to take a shot late to try to get himself back in the match, and then Gwiz just basically flattened him and got the go behind.
Are you giving?
It's but if it's like that again, I mean, if all you need is one takedown, then it's within.
I'm not giving Zilmer a better shot than Vito or Gross.
Yeah,
I agree.
think that's fair. I think that's fair.
So that's the match that's probably the most in the balance.
Yeah,
men's freestyle final match.
Well, I think Zilmer has a chance. I don't think it's a great chance, but it's definitely significantly higher than the other ones we had mentioned. So I guess if I had to rank order them, I'm gonna put them in bunches. I would go Colin, Jaden, Jordan in the first bunch. In the next bunch, I would go Dake and Taylor. They're really good, but I think their opponents are being really high level right now. And then the last bunch, the most likely to potentially lose, which I still think are pretty unlikely, are Gwiz, Fix, and Gilman.
Yeah, I think I agree.
And then, there's only one in Greco, and it's Giangelo and Braxton Amos. And I mean, Giangelo just seems like he was miles ahead last year at the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
On the women's side of things, we talked about Jenna and Jakara, but otherwise, they're all pretty massive favorites. Lampy hasn't been touching Hildebrandt lately. Kayla Miracle
I do feel like
pinned Jen Page in 18 seconds.
I feel like Lampy looked better than she has, and she did. She took some time off, and now she's more back full time. It feels like she looked pretty good at the trial. So maybe, but probably not.
Maybe, but even back full time is relative. Like she's coaching now. So, I don't know. Sarah's just been basically untouchable domestically for the last few years, and then. I don't know. 65, I guess, is interesting too. Velty has won a medal in the past. Forrest Molinari, she's not unbeatable, so that one's possible. That's probably the next most likely. I don't think at 68. I mean,
it's slaughter.
It's slaughter. Tamira is just
slaughter.
Sorry, Sienna. It's
just
it slams to a slaughter.
Yeah.
You guys are brutal.
I mean, it is what it is.
Wasn't the one girl from California that wasn't eligible for senior level competition last year by a couple of days? Did she not compete this year, senior level?
Amit? No, she's in Final X. Amit Elor.
Okay. At 72 then?
72, yep.
Got it.
It'll be her versus Grote in New York.
That'll be a really interesting matchup because, Amit, I mean, people have been talking about her for a couple of years that she's going to be a difference maker when she's on the team, and she'll have her opportunity. I think she's probably a favorite.
Well, that's really interesting with the three high school girls who've had an amazing amount of success so far. Blade, and I guess there's a second Blade coming up, but the Kennedy, and then Welker, and then Amit Elor. They're obviously going to be kind of pushed into those just the upper two weight classes. So someone's going to be on the bench or sideline for a while, and then obviously if Karina Blades grows into that weight class also, there'll be 2 of the 4 will be on the bench.
Yeah, we're getting deeper at those weights domestically, and I don't think the world necessarily is. So I would expect that one of the pieces for us to ever catch Japan is just to keep having really, really good, 65 through 76.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
All right, another question from Wrestle Up 18. Do Jo or Zane have a better chance of medaling than Pentaleo or Deacon, or do they just have the advantage in those respective matchups?
I will defer. I don't know the answer to this one.
Can you read it one more time?
Do Jo or Zane have a better chance at medaling than Pentaleo or Deacon, or do they just have the advantage in those respective matchups? I think domestically we've seen that matchups do matter in this little kind of four-way of guys. In terms of better chance at medaling internationally, I don't know. I'd say they're all pretty much about the same. You could maybe say
feeling,
maybe lean
feeling,
Pentaleo or Deacon just because we haven't seen him domestically yet.
But then that's not the right answer.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's not really the right answer because we can't say definitively that yes, we do feel more comfortable or no, we don't. We just don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, with Russia and Belarus out, it's probably a decent chance of us sneaking in there this year.
This really is the year to make the team.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And sit out in 2023, which sets you up for Olympics in 2024.
Yeah.
We got to break the curse. We got to break.
Although I
curse.
really wonder
this is 70,
if.
This is 70,
Oh
65.
yeah. I keep thinking of these guys as 65s because it's they used to be. But yeah, good point. We got no curse. We're good.
I really wonder if they're going to find a way to get Russia back in there by the time the Worlds come around, because it just seems as though like that's just what United World does. Like, I mean, they did it in 2016 where they kind of deferred, and then 2020 they had Russia doing the other flag gimmick. It feels like they're going to be in.
The thing that Rich Bender said that makes it feel less likely that they're going to be in is not just that, like, the world, not just the geopolitical stuff, but they haven't followed the UWW procedure. They didn't compete at Continentals, so they're just not qualified for Worlds. Like, you have to compete at Continentals to be qualified for the World Championships. So
feels like they're going to write a caveat in there.
That's what they would have to do, right? Like, they would have to not only go against whatever the UN or whoever's like making these calls, but also they would have to go against their own policies to get them in. So that feels like it makes it a little bit less likely. The big question too for me is, like, what are they going to do about the World Championships next year? They're going to have to set. I mean, it's supposed to be in Russia, and if they're going to have it in a different city, they need to figure that out.
I heard
soon.
Milwaukee,
yeah.
Maybe
You
Manitoba.
put a bid in.
I'll put a bid in. How much do you think the bid costs? Let's put a bid.
I have no idea. I don't even have a guess.
Flo, you can come stream it, guys.
Okay.
Well, contractually, yes.
Yeah, we
will. Also, the thing that makes it a little different is the IOC has banned Russia and Belarus. It's not just like a wrestling thing.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to be good with the IOC, which all the people at UWW do, obviously,
maybe
you don't just go against the
UWW.
IOC.
Maybe they'll give them disguises.
Maybe.
How soon is it
Never
before we see more of these athletes start jumping ship? Because I mean, they're a lot of them are loyal. They're more loyal to their area than they are to the country of Russia anyway. So, I mean, when these Russian transplants wrestle for other countries, like that, and if they're
all of them will
Dagestani,
go compete for the UAE.
Yeah, why not? They got money.
They got money.
I don't know. I think a lot of the number ones aren't jumping ship.
But what about the number twos? Like, get them out there. That's fine. I'll take the twos, the threes. Get
Triples,
Mongoose.
the doubles.
Get Mongoose out there.
Yeah.
Let him wrestle for the UAE.
Mongoose. Who's Mongoose?
Mongoose? He's a 55 or 57 kilo guy. He's fun.
He's fun.
Yeah, it's not that far from like Ossetia to Dubai. It's not that far. Probably like 2 hours by plane.
Yeah, no, it's a
Bahrain?
lot closer than 100 places in Russia.
Bahrain still has some spots on their roster. Like, they're good.
Yeah.
You know what I hate, Ben, is when I see like yesterday, like Hamzat Chimaev, like I like him and like I'm fighting, and then he like is posting pictures with like Kadyrov and hanging out with Kadyrov.
War criminals.
Yes, who are literally committing genocide. It's
I
like,
think you just need to enjoy the wrestling, and then just that's it. Leave it at that.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
kind of a damper though.
it's a little bit of a damper. Yeah. You know what? The other thing is that sometimes we like. I think maybe we don't think about over here is like how close. If you look at like Mahachkala, Grozny, Vladikavkaz, which is that's the area where a lot of these are from. Like how close it is. It's right next to Georgia, and Armenia, Azerbaijan. Like those are super close. So for them to transfer to some of those places would be really easy. Also.
Yeah, I mean, all those places like the Caucasus Mountains, right there
Um,
on the eastern part of Russia.
mhm.
Man, somebody should just put an all-star team together in wherever, anywhere.
And you got visa issues and whatnot. I mean, Russia's chilling. They're doing their thing. They just had a tournament where a bunch of guys
Yeah,
wrestled.
Kozak says Russian nationals are in 3 to 4 weeks, and no one's interested in transferring.
Yeah,
It's too bad.
Yeah.
We can get Kemerer to go to the Spartan Combat RTC. We can't get Mongoose to transfer to Bahrain. Come on.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, me either. That's really interesting though. Like Russia, and I think that these efforts have to have been in place before all this Ukraine stuff, but they've really upped their production of like their wrestling federation website, and their streaming platform kind of looks like ours now, and I think a lot of that
It
is
probably
state
knocked you
funded.
guys off.
Kozak would know better than me, but like I think a lot of that is state funded, and so there's no, I mean, there's it's free to watch. It's like, it's no problem. So maybe they're happy just competing against other Russians. It's high level competition. If there's money in that ecosystem from the Russian government, then maybe that's incentive enough to stay. There's probably incentive like for some of these other rich countries to like get guys on the world team, etc. But maybe the Russians are getting taken care of just enough by the government to stay around. I don't know.
I think they
Yeah.
are.
Mm-hmm. Hey, are we gonna do? I love the voicemail questions. I thought you were gonna lead with those. Are we gonna do those or what?
Yeah, we can get to some voicemails. Let's start with Pat from Central PA.
I thought that was, I thought that was
All right,
the,
one more
No,
normal
no, no.
question.
Yeah, one more question. Tyler needs a second to
Um,
pull up the
well,
voicemails.
we'll ask this one, and then I'm gonna try to roast someone after that. But Ben talked about 8 point swing on the double A chest wrap situation in the Mendez Gross exchange on the screen. Was that 8 point swing based entirely on the foot landing in or out? And I would say to that, it was still a terrible call because it should have never been for Mendez, which all three of us agreed on. It probably should have been one Mendez, but yeah, that would be one of the big issues I have with freestyle wrestling. Actually feel like the referees are getting better because I don't think it's happened. I can't cite an example super recently, but essentially it goes. Well, I can't cite a high level example. I could cite them at like our local tournaments or state tournament that I'm wrestling at, but a 4 point if Bray's supposed to get a 4 point and instead they go to JD, that is an 8 point swing. That is 80% of a technical fall. That would be a 12 point swing in folk style. Like it's kind of crazy that 80% of a thing that finishes the match could be swung in the balance one way or the other by a referee making a bad call, or if you want to take it to another level, a referee making a malicious call, right? It's a senior level event, and we know that maybe there's been some compromised referees. So yes, I don't like that.
There you go. One more, because I think this is one of the last ones, and then we can get to the voicemails. From Steven the Surgeon Merrill. Vincenzo Joseph, please discuss some of his technical gains in his wrestling game, but not limited to his match tactics against Ringer again. Thanks, fellas.
I don't really see anything all that different. He's already, I mean, for me, he's always had a pretty wide variety of things he can hit, and he's really got good hips, and he's pretty tricky with the way he moves. And we hadn't really seen him a whole bunch in freestyle throughout his college career. So yeah, I would say I don't necessarily see anything that different. Maybe you guys see something, but he's a savvy competitor. He's always had a lot of tricky things, and it's good seeing him creating freestyle.
Yeah, I thought especially in the second match against Ringer, Ringer was giving him a lot of respect with his hips. Like he would shoot a double and then pretty immediately come up to a waist or to a body lock and not want to get in those maybe chest wrap or over under
I feel like
exchanges.
that was what he always did, didn't he? Shoot and then come up.
I kind of, but I thought maybe I'd have to go back and watch their U.S. Open match. I feel like he did it a little more against him. He also shot more.
The
Uh,
thing about the
he won
like
some trials.
Marinelli, like that would always come up into an over/under type situation.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I
I
know
think that's
Vincenzo definitely tries to pull guys up into that. That's
yeah,
where he's comfortable.
yeah.
But I thought Ringer maybe did it a little on his own, a little quick, a little faster
Hmm. Interesting.
than he should have. But Ringer
Got it.
he looked like he had less power and pop too. Um,
I had someone else make that comment to me too.
yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, we're good to go on the voicemails, Tyler. All right, let's get to
Let's
Pat
do
from Central
it.
PA.
Hey, this is Pat from Central PA, listener, first time caller. My question is, why are we not wrestling a best out of three at the in the semis at weights where we're deciding our final X guys, like 65, 70, and heavyweight? It makes no sense to me that we wouldn't wrestle a best out of three to find our best two guys for weight. It's illogical. Why, like, when we're doing it in the finals at all the other weights to see who gets to wrestle guys they aren't going to beat, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'd love to hear your explanation and somebody put some sense behind this. Thanks.
I agree with Pat fully. It doesn't make sense. So essentially, at weights where there was someone sitting out the final X, right? They got that because they won a world medal. But the second participant in the final X had to compete in a best 2 out of 3 in order to get the spot in final X. So why did they not do that in the other weight classes? Yeah, I agree with Pat that it's illogical. It didn't make sense because if you're going to make certain guys do it, you should make the rest of the guys do it. Now, I don't even know. That's the one argument. Is like if you're doing with one, you need to do it with the other ones. Agree totally. I guess I kind of agree, but then where would you stop with that? Like, do you go all the way back to the semis? And then do you go back to the quarters? Like, we can't do best 2 out of 3 with every single person. So, where do we actually apply the best 2 out of 3 scenario?
Yeah, I mean, precedent going back to before a Final X era would just be that you just don't do the best of three until Final X, right? That would be
Till the final match.
just till
Yeah.
final, like that would be what I think would make the most sense is just
Yeah.
you win the tournament as a straight tournament and then
Yeah.
you save the best of three for Final X.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Because
think.
then the thought would be if someone makes it to the final two, right? Because the final two competitors are all 2 out of 3s. If someone makes it to the final two and they're not that good, like let's just say that, right? Because that's what the best 2 out of 3 is supposed to prevent is someone getting lucky who's not the best guy and they get on the team. Well,
Hmm.
if someone were to get lucky and make the final 2 out of 3, they would then have to get lucky 2 more times in a row in order to beat the next better guy to make the team, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, unless you would have both guys in the semis, we'll just say there's 2 guys in semis which are underdogs and they both get lucky, then you're going to have a final where you have maybe the third and fourth guy in America, not the 1 and 2 guy,
yeah.
or 1 and 3 or 1 and 4, too, right?
Hmm. We're okay with split results deciding like who advances in each round, right? Look at Ian Parker and Joey McKenna. They met twice at the trials and they
Yeah,
split, and we didn't make them. Like, well, hold on. Let's get a third match in to see who actually is
yeah.
better and who advanced. Like we're okay with that earlier in the tournament. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we got. I
Well, you know
agree
how
with
they
Pat.
used
We
to
got to
do
be
it a really
consistent.
long time ago, and this is way beyond my era, so I don't really I never experienced this or I never actually saw this in place, but I always heard about it. Have you heard about the climbing the ladder thing?
It sounds crazy. Yeah.
It sounds totally insane, but allegedly, and we need someone that's way older than me to come on and talk about it because I don't remember. I've only heard like stories of it, so that means it had to be like 80s ish. But allegedly, you had to. I don't remember where they started exactly, but you had to go 2 out of 3 all the way up, right? So the 5 guy wrestled the number 4 guy, and if he beat him, then he wrestled the number 3 guy in 2 out of 3, and then they wrestled the number 2 guy in 2 out of 3.
Couldn't do that
And so
all in
like
like a weekend. That had to be like a several week process, right?
no, allegedly it was all in a weekend, which so that essentially it precluded someone who was lower from moving all the way up because by the time you get to the end of the weekend, you're gonna have
Yeah.
a crap ton of matches. So I don't know what someone would have to educate us more, but I don't know like did they start at number 10 and do it, or did they or where did they start? Did they have a tournament for anyone below 5? I don't know the answer to that, but allegedly that was the process for a little bit of time.
Obviously, Final X kind of came under some heat once again in the process with basically people just referring to attendance, which is dumb because obviously, like, this has shown to put out the best team. Like, that's what USA Wrestling really cares about is winning medals, and this is proven to put out our best team. So, Final X is not going away.
So
Yeah.
I was
but
I was thinking about that conversation you guys were having yesterday about, all right, is it too many events? How do we figure it out? And I think I had an idea. What if we already have a World Team Trials qualification process that allows for a fair number of people to be set in stone before the U.S. Open, and if we expanded that just a little bit more, if we had former credentials like within a reasonable time period as also things that would get you into World Team Trials, then I think you could potentially replace the U.S. Open with a more robust like last chance qualifier that maybe top 3 or 4 qualify and have that at the U.S. Open alongside juniors and all those other divisions in that massive 30 mat format, and you're not trying to like, and then you're not trying to incentivize the very, very best guys to go there, but it's an expanded last chance. It can be participatory. The roofers can come and take their beat downs.
That's all you really care about.
Bring the roofers. They can come take their beat downs, but then like it's filling in the gaps, right? It's those guys that want to come take those last few spots. We're not giving out number 1 seeds. We're not like doing that thing. Then the trials field, like that's been set much further in advance, and those real legit like contenders who have been on the scene, that's taking one competition out of their progression. I think that might make sense.
Okay, yeah, no, I love that. Yes, I'm not a fan of the 3 events. I think that's great. You make it a large last chance qualifier, 3 or 4 entrants, and then that's it. That's it. And that way you're not trying to push 3 events over the course of a 6-week window. It's only the 2, and the 2 are going to have more significance because you take the 3rd out.
Yeah, and I mean, I know the first lens we look at this stuff through is men's freestyle, but if you look at the last chance qualifier, women's freestyle, there was only 1 weight class that had any matches, period. There were 9 weights there were 9 weights at the last chance qualifier that had 1 person. 1 person.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and in Greco there were, mostly like small round robin brackets. So that event, it's not like we're missing a really big thing if we combine that, with a pared down US Open / beefed up last chance qualifier. So maybe that's the move. I don't know.
Our man John Kozak in the Facebook chat, I believe referring to the ladder. I believe they used the U.S. Open to set the ladder. Top 4 through 6 would qualify and then did a round robin.
I didn't know they did a round robin. I thought they did 2 out of 3s.
I don't know.
No, okay.
There was somebody.
Kozak, maybe come on and tell us a little more tomorrow or something.
There was somebody who asked us a question. If we're trying to really create the best team, why don't we just do round robin instead of a tournament?
No.
But that's absurd because that would be like 20 matches.
Yeah. I think we're good with, especially now that we have the world medalist sitting, which I think is really ideal. Like I said, get to the best 2 out of 3. And dude, you ain't getting at this level, you're not going to get lucky 2 times in a row and beat someone who's a world medalist caliber. That is just not happening, period. It doesn't happen. You're not going to get 2 like lucky leg laces in a row. And if you leg lace Jordan Burroughs twice, well, you probably deserve to be on the freaking world team.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can leg lace just about anybody.
Yes. You got to be competing. You got to be competing at a high level to beat any of those guys 1 time, let alone twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat really got
So,
the wheels turning there.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
Pat,
All
good
right.
question.
We can move on. CJ from Indiana has a question for Ben. And if I remember correctly, Tyler, you can cut it after like the first half of the question for Ben.
Oh, he starts cussing her.
No. He
Not
has a
really
question
a
about.
question, but it's a topic. How do you see a Chenzo Dake match going right now?
Oh man. Well, I think that'd be a lot of fun, of course. But I think Dake's gonna be better in the positions that Chenzo's good in. I mean, Dake is just weird. I was talking to some kids last night about how elite level of an athlete Kyle Dake is. He's just ridiculously amazing, and I think he's just strong on the positions than that Chenzo is than Chenzo is. So, yeah, I would see Dake winning, and I don't think Vincenzo threatens him all that much.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
I think that's the best way to find out just how freaky Chenzo's hips really are, right? Because Dake's
Yeah.
got him too.
Yes.
I mean, just take a lesson from
I would be
Cody's
interested to
page.
see.
That's the thing. Like,
Wait,
is
what did you
it-
say? What did you say? I missed it.
Take a book out of Cody's page. Cody make it off. Who
Is-
Well,
competed
nice
this past weekend and was bombing dudes in their Russian
yeah, that was
tournament.
nuts. Is Chenzo the most similar like U.S. wrestler to Kadi
Yeah,
Magomedov and be able to replicate
probably.
that?
Probably.
I don't know if Cody Megamadoff could I wish I could watch him wrestle again because I don't know if he would be able to replicate that.
I don't think so either.
I really genuinely feel like it was like a one-time thing, and no, I don't feel like I can say that because I want to see it happen again to make sure I'm not wrong. But that's my feeling.
That's my feeling too. But can Chenzo, what can he get the 1 out of 10 also on the first feel or something? That's why I think it's an interesting matchup. But yeah, I wouldn't pick it.
Yeah, Chenzo. The other thing is could he stop Kyle's gut if Kyle got on top? I haven't seen anyone really good try to gut him. Because Deeringer didn't get one locked up at all, right? Deeringer's got a pretty solid gut wrench.
I don't think he turned in with the gut.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I want to see the match.
I hope Vincenzo keeps wrestling, and this wasn't just
Yeah.
kind of a 1 month experiment.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it seems like he's enjoying coaching, but he's obviously so young. He's what, like 24. So yeah, he's got a handful of good years left. And if what we talked about yesterday is some of these guys who are really sticking around, that they're actually getting better, which I don't think that really happened a lot in previous eras. I was actually thinking about why, and I think that there's a lot of these programs post collegiately that are like if we're on 10, 15 years ago, it was just like, hey, you're going to be a coach also, and you're going to train in your own time and, do what you can. And now there's post collegiate programs which are really dedicated to making these guys significantly better at wrestling. And I think that's, for me, I feel like that's the difference.
Where do we see Kemerer stacking up in the 79 kg field? I assume that's what weight he'll wrestle at.
Yeah, I actually think so. 74 actually feels a little thinner, right? But he probably can't make that.
Why is that the case, right? Like I agree with you. And is
don't
79, is that a weight that should be the Olympic weight, or should the Olympic weight be closer to 79? Or is that just a U.S. phenomenon right now? Because 79 that's like the ideal, if you're looking at like the health status of a weight class, that's what you want it to look like. You got a guy like Jordan Burroughs at the top. Then you before the trials or before the Open, you had a guy like Derringer who was a top 5 in the world kind of guy. The rest of the field was chasing him, but the rest of the field was right there with both veterans, or not veterans, but guys who've been on the scene for a few years, like Marsteller, and then young guys coming up like Starachi. It's just a super healthy weight class. 74 is not, right? You got Dake, Nolf, and then it drops
Wick
off.
was at a wedding, so Wick wasn't there.
That's true.
And obviously he's beaten Marsteller, like, I don't want to say, I think maybe every time, like a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Marsteller's competed at 74 previously, and 74 is, I don't know why it dropped off because it has been really good historically, but this year it's not very good.
Yeah, and I guess we have a bunch of guys that are going to come through that pipeline too, with Keegan, and Carr is still getting better. So
How
there are
about
guys
the
coming.
two? Let's see, 2019. I'm gonna say 2019 World Team Trials. I mean, like that one year it was Dake, Deeringer, and Burrows, right?
Yeah.
Or was Dake? No, Dake was up at 79. So I'm misremembering that,
Well,
right?
I guess the depth comes in those Olympic years,
What
I
we
guess,
got
but
here? Senior men's freestyle. I'm gonna look at 79. Let's see. So, damn, it took me to Greco. Son of a gun. All right, where's this damn freestyle wrestling? Sorry, I'm gonna find it. I promise, guys. All right, senior freestyle. So 74. Yeah, Imar was competing at a high level for a while. You had Jason Nolf was doing well. Yeah, I don't know. You kind of had a lot of good guys there over time. Just this year's not the year. I'm still trying to find the bracket. I'm moving slow. Tommy Gant, Logan Massa, Nolf, Valencia, who's not been, well, Valencia goes to wrestles in Mexico now. Yeah, I guess it wasn't that great this year.
it's kind of
Kinda
weird.
weird. Huh. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm
79.
reading.
I would say 79 is better here also. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Adam Fellers actually sent me an article from the Oklahoman from 1992 that goes through the process that they were using.
Okay.
Really?
And, yep, how it works. The mini tournaments at each weight will be held today in Philadelphia. The winner faces the number 3 challenger in a best of 3 series on Thursday. The winner faces the number 2 challenger in a best of 3 series on Friday. The winner faces number 1 challenger in a best of 3 series on Saturday. The winner faces the top contender listed by weight in boldface in a best of 3 series at Pittsburgh on June 6th.
Yeah, dude, I think if you kept winning, how many freaking matches that would be?
And how many weigh-ins?
Yeah, so like
And mini tournaments were held to determine the number 4 seed.
so ridiculous. But so yeah,
that's
like a situation we had in 2016 where Molinaro and Jaden Cox both made it from the 9. Like, I don't think they would have actually made it in those cases because they would have had to do the tournament 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of, like, holy crap.
Well, that's how you made the U.S. Open so important. You really wanted that 1 seed.
Yeah, yeah. It seems a little bit unreasonable. So
Yeah, come get the 1 seed,
I'm
or else you have to
glad-
weigh in 4 times in a week. Like, get out of
I'm
here.
glad we don't do that.
Everyone else will be involved in 4 days of wrestling to set up the final wrestle-offs at Pittsburgh on June 6th against the members of last year's U.S. World Championship team.
Wow, so you got the buy through all that if you just made the world team, then being on the world team, man, that's kind of what would be the word? They're kind of precluding new people from being on the team because if you had made the team for a time, then the next time you got that gigantic freaking advantage to make the team again, like holy crap,
Yeah, that's nuts.
nuts. All right, we got our guest. Is he all ready to go, Tyler?
Yeah.
All right. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, Ben. How you doing, man?
Awesome. So, man, I told you yesterday, I said I want to bring you on here so we can talk about your decision in the NCAA finals and have Shane Sparks listen to your take on it. And then Shane ducked us. I think he somehow heard that I had called you and just decided not to show up today.
Oh man, well, I had no idea this was a conversation between you guys. I decided to talk with him about it. I wanted to hear his take on
Well,
why he thought it
yeah.
was a bad idea.
So, well, let's just talk about it because Shane has this really long explanation on when you were in the NCAA finals against Matt, why you should not have chose bottom of the third period. And I went through with him. I said, no, I got to watch Anthony wrestle all year. I think Anthony made the right decision. Here's why it was the right decision. I explained to him, and he's always like, no, you're wrong. And just tells me wrong. So can you just lay it out in simple terms why bottom was the correct choice for you? And then we'll just play it for Shane.
Yeah. I like the third period. I mean, I was up by 7 points. I had a solid amount of riding time, and McDonough, he's a tough wrestler all around, but I felt like he was the most dangerous on his feet. I felt like that was the only way he was going to be able to get back in that match and get the win was by catching me in a cement mixer, catching me, shooting in with a pancake or a headlock or something like that. So in my mind at that moment, trying to minimize the risk, and I felt like I was I was safest on bottom. You know, I was looking to try to get a reversal, get back on top that way, and just not give any opportunity to get back in that match. So that was my decision, you know, and the reason why behind it. So
Absolutely.
How
That's
much
pretty much what I told him.
how much did you think about like, you know, the match being in that type of a position heading into the third? Did you expect it would be like that, and had you kind of run through those scenarios in your head pre-match?
I had, yeah, and you know, just going through the tournament, I was trying to keep an eye on where Matt was at on other mats and where he was wrestling and how he was doing. I just noticed that it seemed like he wasn't scoring until later on in the matches, and so for me, my mindset going into that championship match was I'm jump on him early. You know, I'm just gonna go full attack mode first period, try to get a takedown, get those turns before he got a chance to warm up. You know, and so, yeah, that was my strategy going. Just jump in on him early and then just, you know, wrestle smart through because, you know, he's a tough guy. I knew he could come back at any moment. So I was just going to minimize the risks there.
All right, I got so many questions for you right now about your pull-ups because we started talking about this on the show yesterday. You were gonna do so for anyone who doesn't know, you're gonna try to do 77. It sounds so ridiculous. You're gonna try to do 7,700 pull-ups in 24 hours. Is this true?
Yes, sir. The current record, it's 7,715 pull-ups in 24 hours. So I've been training for just about 2 years now, actually, to break this one.
Okay, and you already have some record, right? You have the most in what, a minute or the most in an hour?
So I broke the record for most of the minute. Someone came back and got that one, but you know, I broke it, and I had 2 in a minute.
Okay.
I also have the record now, most pull-ups with an 80-pound pack and a 60-pound pack. So this will be the final one for man.
Okay, so how do you train? I know JD's got this question too, but how do you even train for this? Something like a marathon, you're going to run some longer distances. Like, are you say doing 1,000 pull-ups and then 2,000 and 3,000 and building up? Because, yeah, I don't. Let's go for it. Tell us how you do it, because I'm perplexed.
Yeah, it's been a fun experience. I've been training with a group out here in Scottsdale called Neuroforce One. They train a lot.
Oh yeah.
They train a lot of wrestlers and, you know, the MMA guys. And so our approach, we set up mini events throughout my training. So it'd be like 6 hours, 9 hours, and leading up to those things, we would do different type of workout setups. You know, to where I do 30 minutes, 8 to 10 pull-ups every minute for 30 minutes straight. And I would basically add weight to myself. I'd start 25-pound plate. I'd shift up to a 45, and then, you know, add another 25 on top. So it was just slowly leading my body up to the tolerance of doing such a high volume.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd throw in different factors as well. Hypoxico mask. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of those.
Yeah.
High altitude training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do like the blood flow restriction cuffs in my training. So a lot of that, and, you know, the mini events were the key. You know, I would just try to hit as high of reps as I could to sustain them for as long as I could, just to see where my body was at and the strategy. So, you know, going in Thursday, my strategy for the first hour, I'm going to hit 12 pull-ups every minute for the first hour. And then from there, I'm going to decline. You know, so I'll probably drop down to 10 and try to keep that for a couple hours and then go down to 8. But for the first 9 hours, I'll basically be going straight every single minute for 9 hours straight, anywhere between 8 to 12 pull-ups every minute.
So 12 minutes of pull-up, that'd be 720 pull-ups for that minute. Yeah, shoot! If you did that, you'd beat the record by a crap ton.
That's the I don't want to just barely break it. I want to smash it, and I want to take advantage of the 4 hours. So I know, you know, we have some break factored in later on. But strategy is just I want to do as many as I can early, body's fresh while I'm warm, and just try to limit those times to where, you know, I take some, and my body starts to lock up and realize, you know, what exactly I'm doing to it. So
Yeah.
but you know.
So are you not
mental stuff
sleeping? You're not going to sleep?
I don't plan on it. No, I did not plan on it. I know I've been off coffee for a bit now, so. The day of, we're gonna have a coffee maker ready to shoot me some caffeine. You know, as I start getting tired, and it's pretty cool because I've got teams of 2 that'll be kind of helping me out throughout the event. So they'll be bar blocks, and so 2 of those guys. One of them is my brother and my main training partner from ASU when I was wrestling, Carlos Castro.
Oh, nice.
Former ASU coaches, Sean Charles and Brian Stiff is another group.
Nice. That'll be your best 4-hour segment right there.
It's gonna be fun, man. Neuroforce. So, you know, I got these groups of people that have motivated me and inspired me. So, And when it starts to suck, and I know it's going to at some point, I got these guys that are going to help me mentally to keep it going. So,
Dang. So JD said maybe you're not eating or something, right?
Well, I was gonna
is it
ask, what do you eat throughout this process? You can't eat like you don't want a big meal, but you need something for energy and to replenish.
yeah, and it's actually where Neuroforce has really helped me out, just figuring out the nutrition strategy and how I'm gonna approach it. Like I did a 1 hour event about a week ago. In that 1 hour, I burned over 800 calories.
damn.
I know the nine
How many
hour
pull-ups?
event.
How many pull-ups did you do?
I did 720. So
Oh,
I
the
hit
12 a minute thing.
yeah, I did 12 a minute for that. In my 9 hour, I think I burned, they said like 2,600 calories. So
Dang.
that's going to be a big factor. So I'm carb loading right now, leading into this thing. They got me doing, like I'm drinking little shots of, olive oil. So for like the fats and the carbs but going in I'll have a lot of shakes, a lot of liquids that I can just be chugging on the go, carb loaded protein. During my break after 9 hours, I'll eat a meal, and then I'll go again and, steadily eat like granola bars and things throughout the whole thing. We have a heart rate monitor I'll be wearing. And so, we're monitoring my calories that I'm burning, my heart rate. And that's actually going to be a big determiner of the number of reps that I'm going to be hitting. If my heart rate starts getting too high, we're going to drop the reps down and just to sustain the energy for full 20. So a lot goes into it, but I think when it comes down to it, man, it's just I'm gonna have to dig. I'm be ready to grind it, signed at some point. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for that moment.
Yeah, for real. Wow. So are you doing this for a charity or something? Someone said that, but I wasn't sure which one, so we wanted to give you the opportunity to plug that.
Yeah, thank you. I am actually. I was honored with the opportunity this past March. I was named as the new head wrestling coach of Mesa High School. That's my old high school, and so I'm just excited to be back home. Excited to get back to the sport, and I'm doing this 12-hour pull-up attempt in honor of my calling it pennies for pull-ups. So I'm just trying to raise money for our wrestling team. The link, it's on my social media. It's at a Robles 12525. If you want to go and donate there, but man, it's just all about giving back. I mean, you guys know the sports bless us all in different ways, and anything I can do just to give back, to say thank you and help the generation of student athletes coming up. That's what I'm all about. So I'm fired up for this one.
Absolutely. So is there going to be a live pull-up tracker somewhere?
Yes, actually, Guinness, they're going to be airing it for the full 24 hours
Oh,
on
really?
their channel. Yeah, and I can send you guys the link for that. And then also ESPN's going to be there, and they're going to be basically going back and forth on Sports Center with highlights every couple hours. So, but
Nice.
yeah, Guinness is going to have the full 24. So,
Okay. And so what would you give yourself as a percentage chance of getting it done? You're 100%, 90, 50, where you at?
I don't want to say 100. I feel like I'd be too cocky, but I'm very, I'm very confident. I've been training. I've done everything I need to be successful in this, and I approach it like wrestling, just like Sundays. Give it my best, and I'm just focusing, really, man, on just one set of pull-ups at a time. I'm not looking at a 24-hour clock. I got that blocked out. I'm looking at 1 minute clocks, and it's 8 to 12 pull-ups. I feel very confident, and I think I'm gonna take this one home. I think I got the mental toughness to do it. It's just a matter of holding up and being able to grind to the very end.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
You say you don't want to just break the record, but like smash it. Is there a number that is like in your head that you're like, man, this is the one I really want?
I would like to get up to like 9,000 if I could. I would 10 would be pretty nice. Get that double digit, but 9 would be solid for me. That's what I'm shooting for. We'll see. I think the big thing is going to be the hands too. That's blisters on the hands, and if you watch the videos of the other guys, Google the pictures of their hands, they're pretty jacked up. So
are you wearing gloves, or do you have a certain type of bar that's more helpful for that?
It's regular bar. I got 2 different pairs of gloves I was wearing at the same time, and then a little bit of tape on my hands. But other than that, Guinness doesn't really allow like pads over the bar or anything. So I'm only allowed the sanctioned gloves that they've approved. So But I've done the 9 hours and stuff like that, and I've still busted out with blisters. And I think this is going to help. Being on crutches my whole life, I've got a little extra thickness there, but still, that's going to come in a factor later on in the attempt. So
yeah, damn.
When you've
Wow,
done
this is awesome. Okay, well, when do you start tomorrow? Like at the time of our show, or we could track it, or what time do you start tomorrow?
Yeah, so we're starting 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Oh, so we'll be done.
Yeah, so and I'll be going 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. So it's gonna be a nice long day.
Yeah, for real. All right, man, that's awesome, Anthony. Good luck. You guys got any last questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, good luck, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate your support, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You got it.
Take care.
Man, guys, 9,000 pull-ups. Like the 12-minute thing, it's like, holy shit. But wait, that's for 1,440 minutes.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine just doing it for an hour. Like, I mean, I couldn't do 12 minutes for an hour. I definitely couldn't do that. Maybe even if you told me like, say 4 or 5 a minute for an hour, like that's going to be really, really freaking hard.
Yeah. Man, I think he may end up breaking the record before bedtime. If he's gonna get 700
before
done,
bedtime.
if he's gonna get 700 done in the first hour, like that puts him in good position. Man,
9,000 is 375 every hour for 24 hours.
Yeah, it's how many is that? I mean, like even per second, like you're having to hit one every. Like probably less than every 10 seconds.
6 1/4 every minute.
6 1/4. So less than every 10 seconds you're hitting a pull up for an entire day of your life. That's a wild.
You got to think he's cranking those 12 out pretty quick though. So like he's getting, I mean, not that I can do it, but worst thing, he's probably doing it in 15 seconds or less. So he is getting a 45-second break. But just the idea of like getting back on the bar over and over and over and over.
The idea of a 45-second break
times.
being what you have to look forward to for the whole day. It's like
crazy.
That's so crazy.
Holy moly. All right, so next week we can update everybody on did he break it or not, because we won't be able to do it tomorrow.
We got to have that up in the office tomorrow because I kind of want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Except sorry, Anthony, I won't be watching you at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little sleep.
For real.
All right, well, I think that's probably our show today. We went through a lot.
Christian back tomorrow?
Christian will be back tomorrow. His son hopefully has graduated by the time we finish. So, anything else you want to add before we get off?
I got nothing else for you.
Congrats to the 5th grade class of 2022.
That's right. Let's go get some tacos, bro.
Yeah, man, I got no tacos.
See y'all tomorrow.
All right, see ya.